So we saw how to create our own time series data set. Let's quickly go through some of the other time series operations available in R. Suppose I wanted to extract certain elements from a time series data set. So there are functions like head and tail. So if you are familiar with Unix shell programming, you will immediately recognize that these are the same as the head and tail functions there, right? And in some other package, the names may be different. For example, if you are using XTS instead of time series, it may be called first and last. So there, as I said, it's a calendar aware system. So you can say, give me the first month, the last 2 weeks, and so on. And it is smart enough to understand all of that and extract the relevant data elements from a time series data set. You can also do more sophisticated subsetting, that is slicing of the data. You can examine a particular element, the ith element, or you can get a slice from j to I, or you can look up the data for a particular date. So if I say time series August 15, 1947, I construct the date object and then give it, I can examine the value for that particular date. I can create a sequence of dates just like we did for the rainfall data. I can define a window, and then all of those are possible using the time series packages, right? Similarly, if you have two time series data sets, you can merge them, and when you call the merge function, you can say what happens if the values are present in both, how to deal with missing values, right? So this actually gives you the intersection of the two time series, or you can, if you say all equals false, otherwise it gives you the union of the two, right? You can also fill up missing values. You can pad a time series by adding more elements at the end. All such facilities are there. I'm just trying to introduce this to you so that you know what is possible. You will have to actually look up the libraries and their documentation to figure out exactly what all are available, or a good book like the R Studio or book by the R in Action or any of those books will tell you how to do all of this. There is also another function called lagging that we will use later in this module, and that function actually does a shift. It's like a left shift or right shift in time. So what happens if I shift the time series by a few points in time? So if you give a positive or negative value, you're shifting forwards in time or backwards in time, right? So this is illustrated here in this diagram in the book. Lag 0 means another copy of the same data. Lag 1 means shifting one time element to the right. Lag 2 is shifting two elements, and so on, right? Another very important operation that we do is the successive differences. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes we don't care about the value of the data, we care about the change in the data element from one point in time to the next. So you can simply call the diff function, right, and it will do that for you. So if I wanted a diff per month in a monthly data, I simply say diff. If I wanted yearly differences, then I do diff and give a lag equals 12. So I am shifting by 12 months. So it will actually now give the difference on a yearly basis. So if you might have seen, a company, when it reports its financial results, it shows quarter on quarter versus year on year. So if today some IT companies are reporting their results for the last quarter of the financial year, which means January to March, right? So then they will tell you how it was, the numbers differed from the previous quarter, which is October to December of last year, how that was different from January to March. But they will also tell you how this January to March was different from last year's January to March. So both are possible using diff or diff with lag equals 12, and many more such things. So in general, you can do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, those kinds of functions on time series data. You can also define your own function f and then apply that. So in XTS, for example, you can say apply dot daily or apply dot weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, and so on. And that function f can be a built-in function like mean and standard deviation, or it can be your own function. So all of these sophisticated repertoire of functions are available to you to work with time series data sets. There is also something called role apply. So, for example, if I take a time series data set Ts and I specify a particular width for which this function f should be applied, and the alignment should be to the right or left. If the total length is not a multiple of this width, then what to do? So, you can say align equals right. Now, if I simply say width equals 8, so it will apply it from 1 to 8, again from 2 to 9, again from 3 to 10 and so on. But you can also say by equals n if you want to skip. That means you wanted to do 1 to 8 followed by 9 to 16, then 17 to 24. You can do that also if you say by equals 8. So, all of this is available to you. You can remove the trend, either by using STL function as we did, or using linear regression, or doing your own regression, and then you can subtract it manually as well as using a built-in function like STL. So, these are some of the basic operations that you can do using the time functions that are available to you in time series packages.